There's something you're not seeing. Every single day, the people around you are showing you exactly who they are, and you're missing it. Not because you're blind, but because you're watching the wrong thing. What I'm about to show you, most men will never learn this. Not because it's complicated, but because once you see it, everything changes. Your relationships, your business, your family, your friendships, all of it gets rewritten. And most people would rather stay comfortable than see the truth. So let me ask you something. Have you ever trusted someone completely, and then they destroyed you? Have you ever been blindsided by someone you thought you knew? Have you ever looked back and thought, how did I not see that coming? Yeah, me too. Everyone has. And here's what no one tells you. You did see it coming. Your instincts caught it, but you ignored the signal. Because the signal only lasts 5 seconds. 5 seconds when the person you're looking at can't control what they reveal. 5 seconds when biology overrides performance. 5 seconds when the mask falls. And if you don't know what to look for in those 5 seconds, you'll spend your entire life trusting the wrong people, partnering with the wrong people, building with the wrong people. Now, I could tell you what those 5 seconds are right now, but you wouldn't understand why it works. You wouldn't see the depth of it, and you'd dismiss it as something you already know. So instead, I'm going to show you something first. Something about human nature that you think you understand, but you don't. Because there's a reason this knowledge has been kept quiet. There's a reason the men who understand this never talk about it openly. It's not a secret because it's complex. It's a secret because it's too useful, too revealing, too dangerous in the wrong hands. So here's what's about to happen. I'm going to strip away every comfortable illusion you have about the people in your life. I'm going to show you what to watch for, and I'm going to explain why this changes everything. But I need you to understand something. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing it everywhere, in people you love, in people you trust, in people you've known your entire life. And you won't be able to go back. So if you want to stay in the comfortable lie, leave now. But if you want to see reality, if you want the power that comes from seeing people as they actually are instead of how they pretend to be, stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will fundamentally change how you move through this world. Let's begin. Here's what they taught you. Judge people by their actions over time. Character is revealed through consistency. Trust is built gradually. Sounds reasonable, right? Sounds wise. Here's the problem. It's bullshit. And deep down, you already know it. Because you've been burned before. That business partner who seemed solid for 2 years before he disappeared with your money. That friend who was loyal for a decade until the moment helping you became inconvenient. That woman who loved you until someone with higher status showed interest. And every time it happened, you were shocked. I never saw it coming. They seemed like such a good person. I trusted them completely. Of course you did. Because you were watching the performance. See, here's what most men never learn. Human beings are exceptional actors when the stakes are low. When life is comfortable, when resources are abundant, when no one's testing them, they can maintain the mask indefinitely. They can be generous when generosity costs nothing. They can be loyal when loyalty requires no sacrifice. They can be honest when honesty doesn't threaten their position. This is what psychologists call fair weather virtue, and it means absolutely nothing. You want to know someone's real character? You need to see them when the conditions change, when they lose something, when fortune turns against them, when the universe says no in a way they didn't expect. Because that's when biology takes over. That's when the prefrontal cortex goes offline and the limbic system, the ancient reptilian part of the brain, takes control. And in those first 5 seconds, they can't fake it. The reaction is too fast, too visceral, too honest. This is what the old masters understood. This is what separated those who survived from those who didn't. Not intelligence, not morality, but the ability to see past performance and identify someone's true nature under pressure. Because life is fundamentally unstable. Everything you have can be taken. Every position you hold can be lost. Every relationship can be severed. And when that happens, when the floor drops out, you discover who people actually are. Not who they claim to be, not who they perform being, but who they are when the performance becomes impossible. And here's the dark truth. Most people fail this test. Most people, when they lose something they wanted, reveal themselves to be petty, vindictive, weak, and dangerous. Not because they're evil, but because they never built the internal structure to handle adversity with dignity. They're children in adult bodies, and you've been trusting them. So let's get specific. What exactly are these 5 seconds? What should you be watching for? Here's the moment. Someone loses something they wanted. Could be anything. They don't get the promotion they expected. Their idea gets rejected in a meeting. Someone cancels plans with them. They lose an argument. A project they invested in fails. Someone they're attracted to chooses someone else. An opportunity they counted on disappears. The stakes don't matter. The reaction is what matters. Because in the first 5 seconds after unexpected loss, you see 3 things. 1. Where they place blame. 2. How they manage emotion. 3. Whether they strategize or collapse. Let me break each one down. Where they place blame. Watch carefully. In that first 5 seconds, who do they blame? Do they immediately externalize? The system is rigged. People are jealous of me. They didn't understand my vision. This is so unfair. Or do they internalize? I need to understand what I missed. What could I have done differently? This is information, not judgment. Weak men always externalize failure because externalizing protects the ego. If it's always someone else's fault, you never have to change. You never have to grow. You never have to admit that maybe, just maybe, you're not as smart, capable, or deserving as you thought. The problem is, this creates a permanent victim identity. And victims are dangerous because they believe the world owes them. They believe they've been wronged. And when you become successful, when you get the thing they wanted, they won't be happy for you. They'll resent you. They'll undermine you. They'll wait for you to fall. Strong men, real men, internalize feedback. Not because they're self-hating, but because they understand that agency lives in taking responsibility. If it's your fault, you can fix it. If it's the world's fault, you're powerless. So watch where the blame goes. In 5 seconds, you'll know if you're dealing with an agent or a victim. Now watch the emotional response. Not what they say, what their body does. Do they get immediately angry? Face flushes, jaw clenches, voice rises? Do they shut down, go quiet, withdrawn, emotionally flatline? Do they perform indifference, forced laugh, I don't care, over casual dismissal? Or do they stay present, Acknowledge disappointment, but remain functional. Here's what matters. Emotional regulation under stress is the single best predictor of how someone will treat you when you become the problem. Read that again. When you can't give them what they want, when you need to set a boundary, when you have to deliver bad news, when your success threatens their ego. The person who rages when their Uber is late will rage at you when you disagree with them. The person who spirals into depression when their date cancels will make you responsible for their emotional state. The person who performs toxic positivity when they fail will gaslight you when you point out their mistakes. Men are driven more by fear and pain than by love and pleasure. What this means is, how someone handles loss is more predictive than how they handle gain. Anyone can be pleasant when they're winning. That tells you nothing. But the person who stays grounded, functional, and strategic when they're losing, that's someone you can build with. That's someone you can trust in the trenches. That's someone who won't destroy everything the moment things get hard. This is the finest filter. After the initial reaction, watch what happens next. In those 5 seconds, do they collapse into learned helplessness? I guess it wasn't meant to be. I'm just not lucky. Maybe I should give up. This is someone who never developed resilience. They fold under pressure. They'll abandon you the moment your shared project faces obstacles. Or do they immediately start problem solving? Okay, what's another path? Who else can I talk to? What did I learn from this? This is someone with agency, adaptability, strategic thinking. This is someone who's been tested before and survived. The leaders who survive catastrophe aren't smarter. They aren't more virtuous. They aren't better people. They're more adaptive. When one door closes, they immediately look for the window. When plan A fails, they already have plan B running. When fortune turns against them, they don't wait for it to turn back. They change their strategy. This is what separates those who build empires from those who make excuses. The capacity to act decisively in conditions of uncertainty and loss. And you can see it or its absence in 5 seconds. Alright, so now you know what to look for. But let's talk about why this matters. Because this isn't just about reading people. This is about fundamentally restructuring how you move through the world. Here's the reality most men don't want to face. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You've heard that before. But what you don't realize is this. Those 5 people are either elevating you or draining you. They're either adding to your power or siphoning it away. And most men are surrounded by emotional vampires, chronic victims, and people who will celebrate them when they're down, but subtly undermine them when they rise. Not because those people are consciously malicious, but because their character, revealed in those 5 seconds of loss, is fundamentally weak. And weak people can't tolerate strength in others. It reminds them of their own inadequacy. So let me give you some examples of how this plays out in daily life. The business partner. You're considering going into business with someone. They seem sharp, ambitious, aligned with your vision. Then you're in a meeting together and a potential investor says no. Watch the 5 seconds. Do they blame the investor for not getting it, get defensive and make excuses? Or immediately pivot to who else can we pitch? That 5 seconds tells you how they'll handle the inevitable failures that come with building something. If they can't handle a no from an investor with grace, How will they handle a failed product launch, a lost client, a market downturn? You just saved yourself years of misery. The romantic partner. You're dating someone. Everything's great when you're available, attentive, and giving them what they want. Then one day you're busy. You can't text back immediately. You need to cancel plans because of a work emergency. Watch the 5 seconds. Do they get passive-aggressive, withdraw affection as punishment, make you feel guilty for having boundaries? Or do they handle it like an adult? That 5 seconds tells you if they see you as an autonomous person or as a resource that exists to meet their needs. And if it's the latter, run, because that doesn't get better. That gets worse. Marriage, kids, stress, financial pressure, all of that will amplify whatever you see in those 5 seconds. The friend. You've known this guy for years. He's always been cool when you were both at the same level. Then you get a big win, promotion, business success, new relationship, weight loss, whatever. Something that elevates you. Watch the 5 seconds when you tell him. Does he genuinely celebrate you? Or do you catch a micro-expression of envy, resentment, or dismissal? That's cool, man, but immediately changes subject or diminishes achievement. That 5 seconds tells you if this is real friendship or proximity. Real friends are energized by your wins. Fake friends are threatened by them. And the moment you start winning consistently, they'll reveal themselves. Now here's where this gets dark, and I need you to stay with me because this is the part most people can't handle. Once you start seeing this pattern, you're going to realize that most of the people in your life fail this test. Your parents might fail it. Your siblings might fail it. People you've known for decades might fail it. And you're going to have to make a choice. Do you keep investing in people who've shown you, in 5 seconds of unguarded truth, that they're not capable of being who you need them to be? Or do you have the courage to create distance? There's an old principle. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. People misunderstand this. They think it's advocating for cruelty. It's not. It's saying, if you have to choose between being respected for your boundaries and being liked for your compliance, choose respect. Because love without respect is manipulation. Friendship without respect is exploitation. Loyalty without respect is dependence. And most men are so desperate to be liked, to be accepted, to avoid conflict, that they tolerate people who fail the 5-second test over and over again. They make excuses. He's going through a tough time. She doesn't mean it. Family is family. And they end up spending their entire lives managing other people's emotional fragility while their own dreams die. Let me be clear. I'm not telling you to become cold. I'm not telling you to distrust everyone. I'm telling you to see clearly, to stop confusing performance with reality, to stop giving your energy, trust, and resources to people who've shown you in 5 unguarded seconds exactly who they are. Because here's the truth. Strong men don't need to perform strength. Loyal people don't need to proclaim loyalty. Emotionally mature adults don't collapse when life says no. And the people who do perform, proclaim, and collapse, they're telling you exactly who they are. You just haven't been listening. So here's what I want you to do. For the next 7 days, just watch. Don't change anything. Don't confront anyone. Just watch. Watch what happens when someone doesn't get what they want. The promotion, the attention, the validation, the deal. Watch those first 5 seconds. Watch where the blame goes. Watch how the emotion moves through their body. Watch whether they strategize or collapse. And notice who passes the test. Because those people, those are your real allies. Those are the people you build with. Those are the people you can trust when the stakes are real.